Hi there everybody, and welcome to another video. On today's video I have this BMW Series 2, the Active Tourer one, F45, F46, 2015 this is, and I'm gonna be tackling a problem I'm having with the sensor that is fitted in here. So it's called a seat occupancy sensor. So basically when somebody's sitting here, this light here comes on, that light there comes on when somebody is sitting in here, and then when you put your seatbelt on, that light goes off. So the same light works for the driver's side. So when you sit in the car by yourself, that will come on, and then once you put the seatbelt, it will go off. But what's happening at the moment is that that light is coming on with or without anyone sitting here. So well, I have this at the moment on there, and obviously that would be causing that light to come on. But without anything, that light is coming on. Sometimes it's staying off, working normally, but occasionally the light comes on, no one's sitting there, and obviously that causes an issue, because then also you get an alarm that starts beeping that the seatbelt needs to be fitted. So I'm going to be, I have checked the system, by the way, with my OBD computer, and there are absolutely no fault codes, but you can see the light is gone off now. So the light is gone off and nothing's changed there. So this is what is supposed to be at the moment. The light is supposed to be off because this isn't heavy enough to be detecting anyone there. So anyway, the point I was trying to say is that I checked the computer with the OBD, and there was no fault codes, and also I've cleaned, what I've done is basically I've cleaned the electrical contacts that are under the seat, and took off the contacts, cleaned them with some cleaner, and refitted it, and that didn't help either. Now sometimes there is a bypass. You can buy this bypass to bypass this sensor, but that makes when you fit that bypass, basically the airbag, it's for the passenger side, becomes active all the time. So it basically means it will always deploy. Whether if you have an accident, obviously you're sitting here, this bag will deploy, but that bag would also deploy thinking that somebody is sitting there. If you fit that bypass. If you fit the original sensor back in there, obviously it will work as it works. The airbag will deploy if somebody is sitting there. At least that's what I understand from reading all this about the seat occupancy sensor. So I've ordered a sensor from BMW. It was about £160 plus VAT, and I'll collect it tomorrow. But in this video I'm gonna tackle the sensor, so have to remove it from the seat to fit the new one. I never done one before, and so I'm not sure how of a pain in the neck is going to be, but I'm gonna start by removing the seat. And also the other idea I had just after ordering the sensor is that possibly you could buy a second-hand seat from eBay. If you look for a seat on eBay second-hand, perhaps it's easier because it's easier to replace. It's just 4 bolts, and take the seat out and the second-hand one in, and it's likely that obviously the whole thing is going to be working just fine. So that would be the easy option. This other option is a bit more complicated, and I'm gonna give it a go. If all goes spotty, then I may go for the seat option. However, I have been looking for seats and I can't find the same one at the moment. I can't find the same shape seat, so that's the other issue. So anyway, let's have a look at removing this seat and trying to tackle that sensor. Okay, to remove this seat we need to undo these bolts. It's 4 of these bolts around, Torx, as you can see, and I use a T45, but I think that my Torx T45 was a little bit small, so it probably is a T50, but still fitted. And there's another one just here which I also removed already. And then if you move the seat forwards, then you can do the 2 at the back. So got the seat forwards, and now we can do this at the back. I've already loosened them, by the way, just to make the video a little bit faster as well. Okay, and that's it as far as loosening the seat. So I'm just gonna push it back now on the rails so we can move these and disconnect the cables from underneath. Right, so I just slided the seat back, and it might go backwards all on its own, so just hold it there, and then you're gonna find under here all the cables. So at this stage I would recommend disconnecting the battery and the main battery, so you can undo this, because this is connected to the airbag. All of this here is connected to the airbag. So let's disconnect the battery. So to get access to the battery, all you need to do really is this plastic thing is sitting there, like just hooked in there basically, and it's just hooked down here. So, and this will be on top like that. So you remove this, literally pull it up, and then you pull this bit up all along, and then get this, pull this out of the groove there. Fairly easy to remove, and then that will give you access to the battery, well, some sort of access to the battery. That there is the positive terminal, and the one at the back is the negative terminal. Now what I'm going to say is, if you use something like this in order to open your negative connection at the back, the negative terminal, be very careful, because your positive is just here. So if you touch that with that, we're going to have a spark, and then we're going to have possibly any related issues to that. So you could use a smaller ratchet, just get your hand in here and do it that way, and then we can take that terminal off. So that terminal is out. Just be aware and that you don't need any codes for your radio. So I know this radio doesn't require any codes, and you're gonna need to reset any clocks or the time or whatever once you disconnect the battery. So now that is done, people recommend leaving it disconnected something like 12-24 hours before you start doing any airbag stuff. But in this case scenario, I won't be waiting for that long. So just do remember, anything you do or you don't do is at your own risk. I am giving you the warnings, and this is just the video here is just a guide. If anyone obviously wants to tackle something like this, but always be cautious and do things properly. So I'm going to leave it at least a few minutes in any case, but the other thing I wanted to say is make sure you you have an OBD computer or some sort of computer, just in case you need to reset any fault codes that might be generated from changing this this pad. And also I have read somewhere that this pad may need to be programmed to the car. Again, I'm not 100% sure, so this is the first time I'm ever having to change a pad on one of these cars. I have had issues with this on the older, the E90, with the seat sensor here, and never really had to do any reprogramming as such. So I'm not really sure you have to do that, but we'll find out. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it a few minutes. Right, coming back to this, what we're gonna do is disconnect this cable here. So we want to press that little yellow clip there. See if I can get a better view here. Press that clip and just slide this open, and this should come out, and now your seat will be basically free to come out. So there's nothing holding that seat in place. Now we can take it out of the car and work on it outside of the car. Having said what I just said wasn't entirely true, so you do need to disconnect the seat belt in order to have a free seat. So what I'm doing here is I'm just lifting this metal clip up to release just the inside bit there. Once you lift it up, you can at the same time slide this sort of forwards, and then you can release it. You will make sense of that once you do it. Not really a difficult one, again, just easy, just slides in and out. Right, now we can get this seat out. Just to show you quickly, I got it at this angle in order to get it out. So now it can just go out like this, basically. But I'm not gonna film that. I'm just I have to carry it, and it's quite heavy. Just be aware of that too. Okay, so I just got the seat here sitting this way, so I can have a look underneath what we need to do. And what I've discovered is that the seat occupancy sensor is sitting right here. So it's not as bad as I thought. I thought it was gonna be in between the mat, well, the leather and this sponge, but it's not. It's sitting right here, and it looks like a fairly easy removal. We just need to sort of take this bit out, and then these two clips, and it looks like it slides out. So also there was a cable tie just there holding these cables together in one corner. I just cut it out so I can see what is going on here, and it looks like all these cables, there's 3 cables, they sort of slide out of this device, of this mount, but I like to lose the mount and then remove the sensor. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, what I've seen is that in order to remove this bit, it needs to slide sort of back towards yourself or backwards, but you need to press, sort of release these clips down here. So if I can focus a little bit on that, if we push those clips, you might be able to slide this out, and this one here. Okay, I think I got it out. Yeah. So that will slide out. So now we have that nice and loose. You can see the cable from the sensor. It's this one here, which is, if you look in here, is the black one here. So all of them have to slide out in order to get that out. So I can see it's only 2 pins, which is what I was doing earlier. I was cleaning that and cleaning the other. Sometimes when you clean it, it actually starts working fine again. But It did work for a while actually, but then it got the light came on again. So let's get these clips out. So 2 clips, and you can see how that moves already. So hopefully we can slide this out. If you use your 2 hands, you could potentially lift this up a little bit, and it'll be easier to slide. I'm not too worried right now because this one is damaged, and the one I'm going to fit, obviously the brand new one, I may need use my 2 hands to slide it in and not be messing around with filming, because you can see how that came out. So the new one will slide in, and that is a bit flexible there. So when you slide it in, make sure it doesn't bend and it goes into that groove, this groove here. Well, you will see it when it comes out. Obviously you have the 2 red dots showing there where that fits. Pretty obvious. Now we need to slide this out, and I can see that there is like a little clip here and another one here. If we open those 2, we'll be able to slide this out. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna show you halfway. Okay, so before I remove it completely, just wanted to show you the white bit there. It's clipped on that yellow bit, and same on the other side in there. So I pushed them out and got those 2 out. And now you can slide this bit out. You can see how it slides out. And then we have the blue one, which also slides out. It's not particularly held in by anything. And then we have the black one. The black one, it's held in by this clip there. So again, another one, you need to just lift it up a little bit, and that should come out. So got it up, got it opened, and now we can slide it out. So if I can do it with 1 hand, you can master it with 2. And that is that. That is our seat occupancy sensor. So it wasn't as bad as I thought, so no need to buy another seat or anything like that. Just get the new one, or I mean, you could potentially buy a second-hand one out of eBay, because to be fair, I'm not sure how common these are to fail. But if they're not that common, then if you find a second-hand one, it's likely to be okay. And it's gonna be a lot cheaper than what this is. Obviously new, 150, 160 plus VAT. So you figure it out, nearly 200 pounds. Right, so tomorrow I'm gonna collect the new part. Gonna fit it back. You can see it's not rocket science. And then we'll see, obviously reconnect the battery to the car and see if there's any faults that we need to delete after having disconnected this plug. It might be an airbag, it might actually be nothing to be delete. Some cars actually sometimes generate a full code. I've noticed that other cars when you disconnect something and you reconnect it, it doesn't actually generate any faults. It's one of those things. So anyway, we'll wait for that. So I've got my new part. Sensor mat. Comes with 2 new clips. So that's the old one. And that's it. So now we just have to fit a little cable tie here, and we're ready to fit the seat back. Right, time to fit the seat back. Right, got the seat in the car. I took the opportunity to clean the carpet and now we can plug this in. Should be fairly straightforward. Just put it in position and then flick the, and that's it. Now we can put our bolts, 4 bolts, and then we're gonna reconnect the battery. Right, my seat is on. Time to reconnect the battery here. Just gonna put that back in there. Car is back alive, and we're gonna tighten that. And remember, be careful with touching the positive terminal there. So if you're using something like this, be careful, put your hand, cover that, and you should avoid any issues. So I'm just going to tighten that now. I'll do it with my 2 hands, precisely to avoid what I just said. Okay, time to fit that little cover there. I just took the opportunity to give it a bit of a clean here. It was fully dirty, like this stuff, and that can start getting blocked. So these are the drains here. Actually, look at that drain there, full of stuff. So when those drains start getting blocked as well, they cause other issues. So good idea to give them a clean. We can then rinse that with a bit of water. Same on the other side, although I did use some pressure water on that side yesterday. Now I may need my 2 hands for this, but that basically goes into that groove there. So you just need to manipulate it in place, just the same way it came out. Okay, that is back on, and so is that rubber. So our battery's on now. So let's have a look at what's going on in here. Right, I'm gonna get the car started. All the lights are out, so my airbag light is on, and I'll be honest, the reason for my airbag being on will be because after removing the seat yesterday, I had to reconnect the battery to move the car, and so obviously the car detected that there was a fault with the airbag, but that's because the seat was disconnected. So I'm gonna have to delete that fault code, but I do. Okay, so I'm just pushing pressure on the seat here, and you can see that little light come on. And now I remove my hand, and you can see the light is gone off. So I'm gonna put pressure again, and the light comes on. So that means it's detecting that technically somebody's sitting there, and you ought to put your seatbelt on. And if I release that, then that goes. So that's the way it should function. So as I explained before, that was coming on without anyone sitting there or me putting any pressure on it. So anyway, now I'm gonna connect the computer and reset the airbag. While the computer is doing its thing, we could go to the settings and just check the time and date, because you may need to readjust that. It says automatic time setting, however it hasn't updated just yet. So you could potentially update this manually. That's just the format. Alright, so it looks like it's trying to reset itself. We'll have to wait a bit for it to connect to the GPS or whatever it does. Okay, so let's have a look at this. You can't really see anything. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for that to do its thing. Okay, those are the faults that we have, and let's have a quick look. Does something to do with the instrument cluster, but we did disconnect the battery. So from passenger side, airbag restraint system, seat belt, passenger seat occupancy detection, open circuit. Right, so I'm gonna clear all of this, and also once I clear that light should disappear. Okay, so it's now just clearing. So that there should also disappear. Maybe the car needs a restart once it's done. Okay, everything is green now, and now what we can do is, so you can see that one's already disappeared. We'll just do a start, and that warning is now gone. So I have, the only warning now I have is my bonnet, and obviously and there we are. We can set the time and date there. Reset time and date to see on this one. Yeah, that's what we need to do next. So that's pretty much it, really. I mean, if you leave the battery off, you might not have to delete any phone codes for the airbag. Obviously I had to do it because I moved the car. So my time and date is still on automatic. I have to figure this out. But anyway, as far as changing that sensor, that mat sensor, in the end it wasn't that terrible of a job. Obviously you can just remove the seat, remove the mat. Perhaps you don't even have to remove the seat from the car itself. You can just undo the bolts, flick it back, disconnect it, and take that little mat off. But you want to make sure you put the mat back on properly, that's all. And then if you do have an OBD computer, you could connect it in case any faults have been generated for any reason. Also, I've disconnected the battery, and you can see that the radio it's functioning without any you don't need any codes or anything like that. But the other thing I'm gonna say is, because you're playing here with it's the airbag system, you're gonna have to be really careful with that. Obviously disconnect your battery, leave it to discharge for some time. Just be aware of those things, but also be aware that whatever you do or you don't do is at your own risk. If you don't feel confident or comfortable with doing it, better to take it to a specialist and they can do it for you. Otherwise, I hope you like the video. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next video. So thank you for watching.